Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulae for many. And this is what we try to make these sessions, a gathering of leaders and a knowledge-sharing community. So we have one such highly acclaimed name on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Ritu Chaubey. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunny. Pleasure being here.
Same here, ma'am. Pleasure is ours. At present, she is designated as an HR director of Commscope India and looks over 7,000 employees across segments and sites throughout India. In her 22 years career, she has shared her roles in acquisitions, spin-offs, building a great working culture, and she has worked across different industries. So, ma'am, you have handled responsibilities in the HR domain across industries over 2 decades. What are your general observations and takeaways on people's behavior and attitude towards work and society?
Sure, Sunny. So, my journey, like you said, has been 22 years, and I think I have been very blessed to witness a lot of things in this 22 years. So what do I mean by that? Now, I'm a Fauji's daughter. And when my dad transitioned from his Air Force days into civil life, he took up PM and IR, which is your personal management and industrial relations. In fact, that was also motivation why I have landed where I am today. But then what has transformed? So when I started off, both me and my father would understand what PM and IR would mean, right? But today, if I think, if my dad was around and he would try to know what this whole transformational journey has been after my 22 years now, I would see him struggle a little. Now, what do I mean by that? Remember the times when, it was those days of Kodak or, it was the days of the Sony Walkman that we used to put on and go, So there's been a paradigm shift, right? A paradigm shift from a very product-centric mindset to a very customer-centric mindset. Now, what has that done in 22 years that I have been around? From the times that you would procure a BPL TV to today, you have some 100 options that you could go in for. Now, if that is how market has evolved in so many years, then what has happened within the industry and what has happened in my function in these 22 years? So I was talking to you about the PM and IR, right? Which was all about Factories Act and compliance and, piles of papers and files kept on the table. So today, when we talk about it, it is no more about compliance. It is no more about personal management. Human resource management or the entire people function has undergone change from the typical IR approach to it. It's the same performance management. The canvas is same, but the approach has evolved. So whether it is performance management, whether it is your talent acquisition, whether it is your compensation and benefits, whether it is the way you do engagement surveys, the way you interact with employees, this entire approach to running these whole schemes in the organization, from when I started to when I look back today, I think that's been a huge transformational journey. Everything has externally it became customer-centric. In the organization, it became human-centric. If Sunny wanted, certain a leave, let's say earlier, maybe 20 years ago on an account of something, maybe there was a very hard process. There was a very hard, convincing that you would have had to do. But today, I think people have understood that, needs can be different. Situations can be different. I think that whole mindset has gone through a change. Coming to the processes, the way data is looked at, the way, you look at the whole process, the way whole reporting, every other thing has undergone a transformation. So I think in this 22 years, what I have seen is the whole re-evolution of the way human resources as a function has transformed itself, So it's amazing. It's amazing journey of 22 years from where I started, like I told you, from those heaps of files to very different ways of working has been very, very interesting.
Interesting. So as you said, everything is transformed, and yep. So what values do you boil down to with all your learnings throughout your career?
So in this whole journey of transformation, Sunny, because I also told you I'm a Fauji's daughter, and one thing which was ingrained in me from my childhood is if you don't lead yourself, nobody will. And if you have to lead yourself, then nobody is going to bestow empowerment on you, right? Nobody will come and offer you saying, hey, Ritu, they might just feel empowered, but you really need to feel empowered from within. And I think, few things, among the few things that has guided me, one most important thing has been leading yourself. Express yourself, bring up your point, tell what you really think. Otherwise, I have experienced this, that we talk about a lot on, women and women empowerment and all of that. But if I don't represent myself, if I don't express what I want to say, then who else will? So I think leading yourself is a very, very important thing. And I thank my family for doing this right thing from our childhood. Coming to the second thing that has really helped me is, I talked again about this whole way in which the changes have happened throughout. If I had not been flexible and adaptable to the changing environment around me, my entire career, like you rightly pointed out, is so much around change management. Your spin-offs, your mergers, your startups, acquisitions. If you actually stick to a particular mindset, then it is very tough for you to really, adapt yourself or bring about or learn that new. So I think giving away your rigidity and being absolutely flexible to the change around you, that's another big thing that has helped me in my career so far. And the last thing I would still go ahead mentioning to you, Sunny, and this, someone had mentioned this to me much early in my career, and I think that was a very, very good thought, which is when nobody is watching you, how you conduct yourself is definitely a testimony to what kind of person and professional you are. Whether it is to yourself or to anybody, be mindful of things, just because nobody is, questioning me or nobody is watching me, you don't do things the wrong way, right? Just by applying logic, the wrong doesn't become right. So I think these three values, lead yourself, be flexible, and the third one, your conduct. So these three things I think have been a very foundational beliefs, values of mine, which have always been guiding me through.
Rightly said, Ritu. Change is the only constant, and we have to be flexible and adaptable to it. So that is how you grow. Okay, you are with Commscope India, and since it's an IT giant, my following question is, how much was your role in the HR field involved with or dependent on technology?
So, Commscope, yes, a lot that has evolved in Commscope in the past 4 years that I have been in Commscope with. But my journey into Commscope has been of acquisitions, right? So I came in from a long legacy and then I have been here. But I will not limit this whole thing about technology only to Commscope. Even in Commscope in the 4 years, there's been a drastic change, But when I look back from when I started to now, today we are talking about your bots managing your backends, right? Today, Sunny, I have a question. I can very well, just put in my question and I get all my answers, which earlier I would have to reach the person, call the person. Even emails have evolved over years, actually. But then the whole way in which your matter would get addressed was very different. So today, I see there's a lot of change where technology has replaced the way you interacted with people, the way your query management was, the way your tools are driven. Let's take your performance management as a process, or let's take the way you administer benefits today, or the way you do reporting. Now, reporting, I think, has undergone a complete transformation as such. And various tools, I mean, you could name all those 100 tools that are there in the market. But to your point, when it comes to, technology, from a complete manual processes to today, we are seeing a complete system-driven, processes. To me, is like a complete 180-degree change. And today market is full of a lot of tools. I think sometimes you get confused whether this way or that. And I do know companies, if not in Commscope, I do know companies that today, as a manager, Sunny, if you were to reward somebody, let's say, you don't have to reach your HR partner first. You can very well ask your AI-based tool right there, saying, and sometimes even if you don't ask, the tool is going to remind you that, hey, Sunny, that so-and-so employee of yours is going to complete 3 years in the organization. You're supposed to recognize this employee. So it is not something even you need to today remember. Your AI-driven technology is going to remind you upfront. But then the new question is, if that is where we have evolved, then is HR needed in future? Is everything now going to be driven by tools and systems, and have bots replaced the human resources field? I would say no. I would say humans are still about blood and, the life in you. So obviously, how much ever tools will not empathize with you, right? Tools don't bring compassion. And as long as I think we as humans breathe and we have blood in us, I think this whole function will continue to evolve, maybe with a lot of technology or whatever changes. But I think this very touch and feel and conversation like you and I are having today, I think this can never be replaced by any tool or any technology. I mean, that's my personal belief.
Rightly said, Ritu. Machines cannot replace humans.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, as you closely work with people in addressing their concerns, what are your observations on the deficit of current social responsibility framework?
I don't think I have a concern. In fact, I have an appreciation for it in India, especially. When I look around globally, or because I work with companies which are very global in nature, and with general exposure and interacting with people, I feel India as a country has been far ahead in bringing out social, corporate social responsibility as a subject. Even today, as you and I speak, this is a mandatory law in India, whereas in several other countries, it is still optional, right? So the intent is common globally, but the whole application and administration in India has become, way behind, right? And what has happened further from the time we started on this journey, I see a further evolution of the concept. I think in 2019, when the current government brought about this change, that even if you were to invest in research and development, because that's when our Prime Minister rose to talk about research and the importance of research and all that, right? And unfortunately, COVID hit us in 2020. So now I see that our CSR has gone a step further, where if as a company, we want to invest in research that is considered as a very valuable contribution by companies to CSR, or if we want to invest in research that is ongoing in the field of epidemics like pandemic like COVID, that is also given as a important and exempted area by the government. So I think more than the deficits, I think there's a huge opportunity ahead of us, Sunny, where as companies, if today we want to make investments, one, there is already a listed ways in which I can do. Two, the government has also time to time been, has taken note of some of the needed things that the companies could further do. So I personally think CSR in India has moved beyond compliance to actually responsibility. Businesses are not just depositing this somewhere or trying to hide away or shy away or, just kind of, show on their book of records. But I think companies have evolved today to take up the responsibility very, very genuinely. And on the ground, employees are making that difference. I would take additional 30 seconds to tell you, Sunny, that in Commscope, we have a passionate bunch of, employees who, other than their day jobs, because they have a day job, right? And we have formed a committee of passionate people who could actually drive this change. Now, these people on their weekends actually go, evaluate, check, see where the funds have really gone. It's not about just giving away funds, right? You also have to go and see, have the funds been put to the right use with the intent that you released? Our employees do go down that line. They go and check, they make a report of it, come back, and meticulously run this whole CSR committee. So the way I see this in Commscope or the companies I have worked, I am personally very, very amazed by the way as a nation we have evolved and as a very thought process companies have evolved on CSR as such.
Wow, beautifully said, ma'am. Since you are now an ESG certified corporate governance expert, would you mind telling us what kind of experiences you offer to the corporate world?
ESG, yeah, so there is no planet B, right? You and I have just one planet. And from the time, I think of ESG now, but earlier it used to be called EHS, right? So look at the whole way in which this has evolved from then to now. My earlier experience has been in manufacturing and intense manufacturing, right? I used to be in a chemical factory, and EHS was all about, whether your the factory environment is safe for workers, whether you're providing them the right, safety equipments and safety measures in the workspace. And, that was all about environment, safety, and health and all of that. But from there, transforming to what ESG means today is not just about company and its profitability and its employee safety, right? Who is going to worry about the planet, the whole climatic conditions, the change that you and I are experiencing today around us? And this whole evolution of ESG from where we were then to now is not something which is, which as a concept is just coming and you could look at it. It is the need of the hour. Every business today will have to think about its sustainability. I think the next big thing will be sustainability, right? And if you have to be a sustainable business, companies say, whether it's Commscope or any company, a company making water bottles like Bisleri will have to worry about its product, life cycle. How me as a consumer is going to dispose that bottle? The companies will have to worry about it, right? So I think this is something which is not something which we can delay anymore, or we can, you close your eyes and the world looks good. No more that way. I think you will have to pay a very key attention to this. You will have to drive this tangibly. You will have to have proper metrics around it, proper goals around it, and we as company will have to drive this to clearly see that change in the environment. And this is not just to do with the environment, right? It's to do with human rights, equal pay, equal opportunity outside. So I think as a ESG certified, which I'll shortly be, I think whether certified or not, even otherwise I would say, but now that I will be certified, all the more I would, pay attention to this and would want to go down that path. But yes, I mean, ESG is no more, you close your eyes, it is something right there staring at you. I have 2 children back home. What's the kind of environment and what's the kind of, the whole corporate situation we want to leave behind for them, right? So it's not just about my boys. There's whole generations that are going to come and staring at us. So I think ESG is a big deal today, and it's all not about profitability, but there's so much to do with sustainability. The companies who sail through the sustainability and exactly know what they have to do there are the companies that are going to survive. Otherwise, I think in years to come, not too far away, maybe 10 years or 15 years from now, there will be interesting changes in the way companies sustain, maybe. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. In fact, it's so amazing to have such wonderful leaders like you who think so much of sustainability, because that's the need of the hour. Right. So we are building FaceTime with Leaders community for cross-pollination of knowledge and a community of independent directors for having a better corporate governance in the country. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole team of World Development Corporation?
Wow. So had it not been for Zishan's organization or Havel's efforts or this entire team of, Directors Institute, I don't think, I would have had an insightful journey that I have had so far, I got to know about Institute of Directors around November, I think, last year. And since then I onboarded their team. In my journey of learning to become an independent director, I had known about this, but I had not known, the whole process and, the whole journey, how to get there. So I would actually thank this whole institute to have not only taken me through that journey, by having, led me towards the whole certification process. And now they are enabling me on the whole ESG, thought process and what that really means when we think about it. So I think this whole organization and the whole the staff that the institute has been very helpful. I thank them for this entire journey that I have had undergone with them so far. So they're doing a great job, and I would request them to continue to do this. Personally, I thank them for all that they have offered to me. They have kept up their promise, Sunny.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ritu. Great. That was fantastic conversing with you. And I'm confident that your insights will inspire the future leaders. Thank you, Ritu, for joining us today. And we wish you the best for your future endeavors.